Hi guys, Mulos here. So today's video, I am going to talk about something that I hear quite a lot about, which is the garnishing of payments and bank accounts by ZRA. So before I get into that, I just need to do my usual disclaimer that one, this is not intended to be financial advice in any shape or form. I'm just sharing some experiences that I have observed. And two, I am talking strictly as a professional armchair critic and analyst. So take that with a pinch of salt. I'm just sharing my experiences and my observations and some simple workarounds, hacks, and solutions towards any of you who may be having some payments garnished or your accounts garnished and all. So I won't really go into talking about what garnishing is, but usually what happens is that ZRA will either freeze your bank account at the bank, or they will deduct some payments, they'll deduct some money from a payment that is coming to you from either a government organization, quasi-government organization, or one of the big institutions like a bank, mine, insurance firms, and the likes. So usually when your funds or account are garnished, it simply means that your tax account has got some issues. So a lot of times those issues will involve unfiled tax returns, whether turnover tax, income tax, VAT, or so forth and so forth. And then two, a lot of times it involves unpaid tax return principle, or unpaid tax returns basically. Then another time it includes unpaid penalties, or you've got outstanding penalties. And then the fourth reason I've observed is people have missed a couple of time to pay agreement installments. And then another time it involves unfiled VAT returns or VAT returns. And then this one is where you have not filed your VAT returns and you have not made your VAT payments, and then your client files or reports that in their input tax, or they're trying to get a VAT refund for the input tax or the input VAT that they paid on those invoices. So what happens is that it will be found in a ZRA audit, and then they'll have to recover that VAT from you. So you find that they'll do their own assessments and then recover that from you by garnishing one of your payments a lot of times. Now that I've pointed out some of the things that I've seen cause accounts to be garnished or payments to be garnished, I'll talk about some simple ways of avoiding getting garnished or resolving being garnished. And the first one is ZRA always has an escalation ladder, in that they'll always escalate higher and higher and higher until they reach the peak, which is them having to garnish you. So a lot of times before they actually garnish, they'll get in touch with you, the taxpayer. They'll either send you some emails or even make phone calls in some cases. And what I've seen is a lot of times people do not reply, they do not read or reply those ZRA emails. So the ZRA emails, when people receive them, they have a panic attack and assume the worst. But usually it's a ZRA person trying to tell you that there's this problem which we have identified, and we will have to garnish this payment if you do not rectify it. They may or may not tell you in that simple English, but they will communicate with you. So immediately you get an email from ZRA warning you that your payment or your account will be garnished. The most important thing is to reply, or if you don't know what you're doing, the most important thing is to find the most competent person within your budget to handle that reply for you, so that things can be resolved. It doesn't need to always escalate upwards. It can actually be resolved sometimes just when you receive that first email. And then, like I've said, resolution prior to things being escalated will a lot of times save you a lot of grief, stress, and losing money in these payments. Then another thing you can do, the third thing, is make sure all your returns are filed and up to date. And then also, once you've filed the returns and they're up to date, the next thing is, if you have the money, pay for those returns. If you don't have the money to pay for those returns, enter into a time to pay agreement for the outstanding returns that you have either filed now to normalize your tax accounts, or that were outstanding already prior to the garnishing. And then now, if all else fails and your payments still get garnished by ZRA, it doesn't mean that ZRA is just getting that money and it's gone. It still remains in your tax account. So there's a lot of times you can actually reallocate or reapply the garnished funds into your outstanding tax payments, or your outstanding tax principal or outstanding tax penalties, or into any of your tax accounts which need that money. So if you do get garnished, always stay level-headed and look at whether or not those funds which have been garnished can be reapplied within any or all of your tax accounts. And a lot of times you find that it can actually be reapplied. ZRA doesn't just take that money and it goes into some mysterious suspense account. No, it's actually taken from your tax accounts and applied into your tax accounts. It may be applied wrongly to a tax account or a penalty that you don't want it to be applied to. So a lot of times you can actually reapply these things and reallocate them. So that is that regards this. So my simple advice to any of you is that if you hear someone has been garnished, always best to ask why the funds have been garnished or why the account has been garnished, and then encourage them to just normalize their tax accounts, and there can still be resolution of issues after garnishing. But a lot of times, if you just reply or respond to that email, you can most likely be able to resolve things before they are escalated upwards and all. So anyways, I do hope the video has been helpful. Let me know in the comment section if it has or hasn't, and I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. Mulos, bye.